Steve, why are you at home with your family?
I'm well aware of that, Matt. However, as I was sitting down dinner, my phone started ringing on the hook. I tell you, Matt, you didn't really arrest the church tonight, did you?
No, just their activity.
Why would you do that? It's Christmas Eve, for goodness sake. You're telling me that we've got Mary, Joseph, and baby Jesus sitting in our jail? Do you know what the papers are going to say? Didn't you just give them a warning or something?
Now listen, Elvira Finch called and she finally had a good reason.
Elvira Finch. So it has to be her. Very well. Let me see the charges. Oh my. Are you sure you're not exaggerating?
Just wait till you hear from them themselves.
Very well. Let's deal with this tonight and try to get these folks home for Christmas. You can bring them in.
Why are you throwing Jesus around?
Why are you letting him know anyway?
Just respect, Mary.
Go on.
Why'd you get arrested with that mule?
Okay, let's have some order in here. And there is a long list of charges, so I need a spokesperson to explain things to me.
Yes, I've been nominated.
Please state your name for the record.
Chester Blevins. You know me. Me and your father go hunting together.
This is a court of law, Mr. Blevins, and you will either call me Your Honor or Madam. Okay, I need you to clarify some of these charges for me. Would you like to explain what happened tonight?
Well, you see, ma'am, our church was trying to put on the live nativity, and things got a little bit out of hand. But no one was seriously hurt, and we're willing to pay for any damages that occurred. We were just trying to spread the Christmas spirit, peace on earth, goodwill towards men. The same Christmas spirit I hope you'll take into consideration when you hear what happened.
I'll be the judge of that. Let's address the arson charge first. Harvey Ditwilder, will you please approach the bench? Wait, state your name for the record.
Harvey Ditwile, Your Honor, and that's a bogus charge.
He caught the church cemetery on fire, Your Honor.
It was my fault, you see. I was playing the role of shepherd, watching over his flocks by night. I had the sheep all bedded down and all was calm. So I decided I had to build myself a small campfire because it was getting cold. Like they had done way back then. So, all was calm until that crazy mule of Clyde's went off like it did.
Mule?
The animal cruelty charge, Your Honor.
That critter just came charging out of nowhere. Dragging that bushel basket behind him, scared the sheep and fire all over the place. Luckily, it was just a cemetery. It just burnt down a few old roofs.
Is that correct, Deputy Perkins?
I don't have the report back from the fire department yet, ma'am, but it didn't look to have gone past the cemetery.
Let's get back to the mule, shall we? Who is responsible for the mule?
That'd be me, ma'am. Clyde Jenkins, and I object.
To what?
The charge of animal cruelty. Jasper is just fine.
Jasper?
The mule, Your Honor.
Right. Now, suppose you tell me about Jasper, Mr. Deakins.
Well, since Joe Edwards loaned us some cows for the nativity stable and sheep for the shepherd's pasture, me and Clem Hawkins come up with the idea of how to make ourselves a camp.
Clem Hawkins?
The other king, Your Honor.
And why isn't he here?
He's in the emergency room. I had another deputy escort him to the hospital. I'm waiting on charges for him.
Exactly what happened to him?
He was standing behind Jasper when he went off.
That's not a smart move, You should never stay behind mules going to bushel basket strapped to his back.
And the other king?
Henry Dawson. I've got an APB on him for evading authorities and resisting arrest.
Oh, Henry wasn't invading, resisting nothing. He ran off to catch old Jasper.
Okay, let's get back to the mule. Just how are you going to turn a mule into a camel?
Well, man, we came up with the idea if we strapped a bushel basket to its back and then put a blanket over it, that in the dark, mind you might just pass for a camel.
And the mule stood still for that,
Well, we sort of gave him something to make it more manageable.
which was...
Some of Eunice's apple cider was not cool.
You did what? You drugged the mule?
No, not drugs, just made it more mellow. Hey, it works for Eunice.
I'll have you know, I only use NyQuil when I'm sick.
You sure are a sickly person.
You're going to medicine pretty soon, Minerva, if you don't start minding your own business. And as for you, Clyde Jenkins, you know full well it takes me a full year to make that apple cider, not to mention the heaps of your underwear I have to use.
Underwear?
Yeah, Fruity Looms have the best fabric for straining the apple juice.
You mean you straightened that apple cider out with Clyde's underwear?
Don't get excited, Harvey. I buy new underwear every year from Walmart. Clyde doesn't get to use them till after apple season.
Yeah, it's quite embarrassing, I tell you.
They're still perfectly fine, and besides, no one's going to be seeing your underwear, Clyde.
You hang them on the line, woman. What are people supposed to think?
Well, Pete, I thought you were having some serious problems. I was going to put you on the prayer list.
Let's get back to the mule. What happened that set him off, as you say?
She's what happened, Your Honor. She came charging out of the manger like a banshee.
He put my grandmother's homemade quilt on that nasty old animal, Your Honor.
Now, Eunice, I'm supposed to be a king. A king wouldn't just be sitting on any old blanket now, would he?
You're going to be lucky to get any old blanket while you're sleeping on the couch tonight.
I take it this is the domestic disturbance charge?
Yes, ma'am, she was beating with the quilt.
I was not beating him with the quilt. I was simply shaking the straw off. And besides, it wasn't me that spooked old Jasper. It was your heavenly host over there trying to reach the high C in the song they were trying to sing.
I'll have you know that I've been told I have the voice of a bird.
Yeah, a crow.
Order in this court. I suppose the assault charge pertains to these two.
Not until this moment, ma'am. The original assault charge involved Mr. Blevins and the Culpepper sisters.
He tackled us, Your Honor.
It was an accident. I didn't mean no harm.
Exactly what happened, Mr. Lovins?
Well, you see, Eunice being Mary and all had to hold the baby Jesus. When she saw Clyde with her granny's quilt on Jasper, she plumb threw him up in the air and took off. Well, I didn't think that was the proper way to treat the baby, so I just took a dive and caught him before he hit the ground. That's all.
She said catchy bits remind me of his old football days. Who cares if you jar the hay bales a little?
Jarred. He knocked them clean out from under us.
But old Bessie broke your fall, didn't she?
Yeah, and nearly trampled us in the process. Look, she broke one of my wings.
Bessie?
Cal, Your Honor.
I couldn't just let Jesus hit the ground, could I?
It wasn't a real child, was it?
Oh no, they wouldn't trust us with a real baby. It was just a doll, but it stood for Jesus.
You know, you shouldn't be flinging baby Jesus around like that. Just ain't respectful.
I'll show you some respect.
Simmer down, Eunice. We're in enough trouble.
Okay, now what about the violation of the noise ordinance?
That would have been their singing, Judge.
For your information, we did not get started our song.
She's right. What you heard was a cow bellowing when Minerva landed on it.
Oh, really? I couldn't tell the difference.
Morning, Eunice.
Bring it on, Minerva.
Easy, ladies. Remember, we are ladies. Unlike some people we know.
You want a piece of this, Gladys?
Okay, ladies, this is the last warning. One more outburst from either one of you will lead to a contempt of court charge. Deputy, will you please confiscate that quote from Ms. Blevins? And the charge, destruction of private property, is that related to the fire in the cemetery?
No, ma'am, that charge stems from the animals destroying Elvira Finch's flower garden.
Who's?
Oh no, not Elvira Finch. She's been threatening to sue the church for years now.
She can't sue the church, can she, ma'am? After all, we are Christ's representatives on earth.
Really? Just how well did you represent him tonight?
Why? What do you mean?
Well, like you said before, Christmas is a time of peace and goodwill, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And Jesus is a man of love and forgiveness. Is that also correct?
Well, of course he is. That's what we've been trying to tell people all along with our nativity tonight.
Well, I haven't noticed any peace, love, or forgiveness in this room. Am I right? Just what I thought. Now, as for the charge of disturbing the peace, no explanations are necessary. Very well. I am ready to hear your pleas. Harvey Ditwalder, how do you plead?
Guilty, Your Honor.
Chester Blevins,
Guilty, Your Honor.
Clyde Jenkins,
Guilty, Your Honor.
Eunice Jenkins, Eunice Jenkins,
Guilty, Your Honor.
Minerva Culpepper,
Guilty, Your Honor.
Gladys Culpepper.
Guilty, Your Honor.
Very well. Before I render my decision, I would like to explain that the court has the prerogative to consider intent when deciding the punishment. And it is the opinion of this court that there was no malicious intent behind any of these misdemeanors.
That's right, Your Honor. We were just trying to tell people about Jesus, and things just went a little haywire.
We sure didn't mean no harm.
And that is why I decided to send us all of you to community service. Harvey Dittwilder, Clyde Jenkins, and Chester Blevins, I sentenced you to clean and repair the tombstones at the Fairlawn Community Cemetery and to replace any wreaths that may have been destroyed. Eunice Jenkins, Minerva, and Gladys Culpepper, I sentenced you three to replacing and restoring the garden of Elvira Finch to its previous condition. Are there any questions? Good. Court adjourned. You're free to go.
All rise.
Let's go get some dinner.
Maybe it won't be so bad. Gladys, yeah, maybe it won't be so bad, Gladys. Elvira did have a pretty garden, and it's only right we should help put it back. We can come over and survey the damage and pick out what she'll need come spring.
After all, that's a Christian thing to do.
You're right, and maybe I could take her some of my apple cider. That might cheer her up.
You know, around this time, Walmart should have the wreaths on sale. Could save us a little money.
That'd just suit you, wouldn't it?
What's wrong with saving a little money?
Wonder if they got anything to clean soot.
I don't know, but while we're down there at the cemetery, I noticed those headstones have been leaning. Maybe we should hook old Jasper up to them and straighten them up.
You'll wait for me.
We're done with our session.
Hurricane fire started.